Hi, in this video we'll be talking about men's and women's clothing and transvestites. During one time of my life when I was in a clothing store, I asked a girl when the men's section was, as she was browsing through the clothes, and she said that this was it. But why was she looking for clothes in the men's section of the store? And she said that she likes it. So I was struck by the idea of what actually is women's and men's clothing. The answer is simple and obvious. Women's clothes are those clothes that have features or functions for the characteristics of female physical body. Men's clothing is that clothing that has features or functions for the characteristics of the male physical body. In women, the distinctive features are in the form of a narrower waist and wider hips, and of course the presence of breasts. And of course women's buttocks area also has unique shape from that of men. Women with small breasts and a rectangular body type may well wear clothes that are usually worn by men with a rectangular body type. If you find photos of male and female body types on the internet, you will see that all male body types have their counterparts in women, but not vice versa, because of the distinct waist and wide hips of some girls. I think that this is one of the reasons why some girls choose to buy their clothes in the men's storeroom. Girls wearing such clothes are perceived as absolutely normal, because we often see girls in this type of clothing that may have been bought from the women's clothing department. That is, the difference between this type of men's and women's clothing is minimal. So, which clothes are women's and which are men's? Here you can ask a leading question. Why can't an adult wear clothes for a teenager? Because it is unlikely to fit on him and will not perform its functions. Thus, if the clothes make sense on a person, then there is no problem for him to wear them. Respectively, women's clothing is clothing that emphasizes one or all of the following: female breasts, narrow female waist, wide female hips, and of course their buttocks. Men's clothing is the clothing that emphasizes male distinct features. If you listen carefully to this video, and even better, looked at the types of male and female bodies, then you will not be surprised when I say that this is all the rest of the clothes that do not fall into the category of women's. This is due to the fact that all male body types are reflected in female body types. Simply put, men do not have distinctive body types, and therefore they can wear all those clothes that do not have obvious signs of breasts, narrow waists, and wide hips. Some might say, but what about the fact that men are usually larger than women? Firstly, there are women who are also very tall and rather wide. And secondly, this is not the point. The meaning here is in logic, and I already gave an example above. If an adult who is 180 cm tall tries to put on unstretched clothes for a teenager of 150 cm in height, then such an act will be exactly the same as if he tried to put on clothes for girls with large breasts, a bra for example. That is, such a person makes the mistake of wearing something that was not designed for his body type. He is trying to be someone who he is not physically in his current life, and this is precisely the mistake of that person. And yes, the above means that not only girls can find any clothes in the men's section of the store, but men can also find clothes by size in the women's section. I'll repeat, the clothes that fit the physical parameters of their body. The example, wearing such clothes is logical, and only psychological problems, wrong word use for example, can become an obstacle in wearing those clothes. By the way, change the tags female to male and many men would calmly buy such clothes for themselves. It's all about psychology. But someone may ask, is there really not a single thing in the assortment for clothes that has label men's that would not be logical on all women, and accordingly is truly men's clothing? The only thing I can remember is the strange underpants with a cutout for getting out the penis, for example, in order to pee. I say strange because I have always thought that all men just pull the front of their underpants down to pull out their penis and relieve themselves. But I read that some people who have such underpants still use that cutout according to the author's idea, so to speak. In fairness, it can be said that if a person unzips the fly and does not unbutton the button on his pants, then this gap in the underpants can really be useful. I personally have never found such a way to drain excess water convenient. So, perhaps, such underpants could be considered a purely masculine type of clothing. But for me, they would not look strange on a girl, because that opening in the clothes is not the main reason for the existence of the underpants themselves. It is only their small detail. I will give you a couple of examples of what I consider to be mistakes in choosing clothes. A man put on a bra. The item of clothing does not serve its purpose. The man has no breasts. Such a man does a nonsensical thing, and he can rightfully be called a transvestite. The man wears a jacket with an obvious narrow waist. The verdict is exactly the same as above. The man has put on the women's underwear, which does not have enough room for his male sexual organ. In this case, the man also made the mistake, because that particular underwear is for women only. What about me, you may ask? Am I doing the same as I preach? Well, last summer I lost my umbrella in Timirazovsky Park, and when I was thinking of buying a new one, the thought dawned on me, why would I want to buy a new black umbrella again? Why not take a colored one? As you know, this is the case in Russia stores, at least. Almost all colored umbrellas have, for strange, albeit understandable reasons, the inscription female on the price tag. Naturally, umbrellas cannot be women's, just as they cannot be men's. They are humans, because physically they can be used by people of both sexes, and such use of the item makes complete sense and is completely logical. So, the words female and male should be removed from the price tags of umbrellas, as well as from many other types of clothing. I am lucky because some of my favorite colors are dark blue and purple. Such colors are not highly psychologically associated with women, and various dirt spots on such dark colors is not clearly visible. But, alas, it was not easy to find umbrellas with such colors. Maybe I will still find something before the warm spring comes along with the rains. Regarding clothes, if I knew exactly the colors of my aura with which I should combine the colors of clothes for health and psychological benefits, and I would see exactly those colors in the so-called women's clothes, which do not have pronounced distinctive features in themselves, that is, the form of breasts, a narrow waist, or wide hips, then maybe I would buy one, for example, to wear at home. I'm not sure if I would be able to go out in such clothes outside. Yes, I still have psychological problems, but I try to work on eliminating them. And I perfectly understand that someone who has not really delved into the essence of the issue discussed here in this video, he will think that my problems lie elsewhere. No, I can see myself from the point of view of people of many worldviews. How should our clothing stores be organized so as not to encourage the development of psychological problems and unnecessarily division in society, which, among other things, worsens the health of men, since they often buy black and grey clothes? One of the solutions lies in the fact that the men's and women's store departments remain, but clothing manufacturers create clothes in absolutely all colors for men too. Now mostly women have such a choice. Also, fashion designers do not separate clothes according to different characteristics, except for the three above, emphasizing women's breasts, women's narrow waist, and women's wide hips, along with the women's buttocks. But, as you can understand, with this approach we will have, in fact, the same colors in two departments with different names, men's and women's. This brings us to the second solution. There are three departments of clothing: humans, or another name for your general public choice, women's and men's. Accordingly, in the women's department, there will be only those clothes that, in terms of physical parameters, are suitable only for girls: chest, waist, hips. In the men's department, what is physically logical for men to wear, for example, the aforementioned underpants. But in the human department, everything that can be worn by all people, regardless of the gender, that is, clothes that do not have the distinctive features and functionality for women's breasts, women's narrow waist, women's wide hips, and male genitals. It should probably be said that if people really want to have differences in clothes for men and women, then there is nothing bad about it. The main idea in this video is to understand that people can wear all kinds of clothes that they want to wear. Oddities arise only when a person tries to be what he physically is not in his current life, and whom he cannot be in that current life, but whom he might become in his next life when he incarnates in a new physical body. This is all. Thank you for watching.